Hi, everyone. It's Tessa.
And Joe.
From the Unveiling Paradise podcast.
Tessa, summer is almost here, and so many of our listeners are about to have their epic destination wedding.
And we are so excited for you guys.
Before the big day, guys, we want you to make sure you listen to these 3 episodes.
Episode 62, Deep Diving Your Wedding Ceremony.
Episode 53, Questions Your Wedding Guests Will Ask.
And episode 31, the final countdown to your wedding day.
And if you're planning your wedding here in Hawaii, hit us up and ask us about our Unveiling Paradise podcast promo.
Happy planning.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Unveiling Paradise podcast. Hello, Tessa.
Hey, Joe. How are you?
I am so good. We are talking about my favorite thing to talk about, hair and makeup.
It's perfect.
Okay, but seriously, hair and makeup is such an important part of what I do as a professional. Make people look good in their photos, right? I have to be working hand in hand with a professional hair and makeup artist that just allows us to be able to shine in our photos, right?
Right, but there are some people that choose to do their own hair and makeup, right?
Boo.
I know, agree. And I am also a really big believer in professional hair and makeup. I know for you, you're looking at it in the sense of photography and whatnot. For me, they follow what I tell them to do, right? It's following my timeline. It's being on time. I love working with professional hair and makeup artists because they understand what I need for my client to get us through the day. This is why I'm so excited today, Joe, to bring on hair and makeup guru, stylist extraordinaire, owner of Perfectly Made, Erika Kalaikai. Welcome, Erika.
Thank you for having me. That was so sweet.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have you here. I feel like you're judging me right now with my makeup, and I curled my hair for you, but I think you're looking at the back where I didn't really nail it today.
You look beautiful, Tessa, and I'm not judging. I'm actually off the clock. But I'm super excited to be here. Thank you both for having me.
What about Joe's hair? What do you think about that?
Yeah, sexy.
It looks great. But
Except
there is
that
a
one's
piece.
sticking up, right?
Can I fix it? I was looking at it earlier. But can
Just
I
leave it. It's more funny.
All right, do it.
It's a little like, it's going to be bad for content.
Oh, I thought it was just funny. I left it on purpose.
that back.
Gorgeous. I've been professionally styled. Yes.
Smack it back. I know it looked good before, but the headpiece kind of like moved it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Erika, how did you get started in this crazy business?
So it's kind of a funny story. I was a dental assistant for 8 years, and I actually had one class left before I finished my prereqs for dental hygiene.
Yeah.
And I sat back and I looked at my dental hygienist. No offense to dental hygienists. I thought that was where I wanted to be. I looked back and I said, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
Right.
It's just very repetitive. And I started to feel like I didn't want to be enclosed in an office. And so I quit.
Just out of nowhere.
I was like, I had the physiology, body anatomy and physiology left. And I was like very tortured to be in that class. So I was like, I don't want it that bad. And so I quit college. I just started to really soul search. And I was like, what do I want to do? So I was like, I know I want to be outdoors. I know I want to like network with people. People energize me. I love to speak with people. I love helping people. And so what had happened was I met a girl that came into my office, in the dental office, and we really connected.
Yeah.
And prior to meeting her, I was like, I think I want to do makeup and hair because I know a couple people in the industry, and I was just really thinking about it. Like, that seems something fun to do. And I've always liked makeup. Was I good at it? No. I was always the braider for the softball team. So I always did hair. And then I was like, I think I really want to do that. So when I met this patient, we really clicked. It was like a really good connection. And I go, what do you do for work? And she's like, I do makeup and hair for weddings. I go, no way.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah. I was like, I really want to do makeup and hair. And I was pregnant with my 3rd child. I was about 5 months pregnant. She's like, come shadow me.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? So I did. And that sparked my fire.
Yeah. And so you started your business and now you guys have like a whole team, right? You guys are killing it. So tell us a little bit about that.
So we are a team of makeup and hairstylists. We provide on-location makeup services for brides. We specialize in brides, and we just love to have fun. I think that's what sets us apart. I really like to make a real, true connection with our clients. You're not just like a number. Like, we really, really try to connect with you so that we get you and we have fun with you on your wedding day. I feel like it's so important because we spend those last intimate moments with our clients, and it should be fun.
And you make them look gorgeous. Like your hair and makeup is always on point. I love it whenever I see your name on the roster, like here's hair and makeup team with Erika. It's like, you know that the photos are going to look nice. All right. So Erika, we have so much to talk about today. I want to take a deep dive into your wedding day hair and makeup and how to look your best. So let's get started.
Welcome to Unveiling Paradise, your go-to destination wedding podcast. I'm Tessa, wedding planner and owner of Fred and Kate Events.
And I'm Joe, wedding and adventure photographer of Joseph Esser Photography. We are based in Hawaii, one of the biggest, most popular locations for destination weddings.
We want to share our real-life experiences with you, give you insight from a professional's perspective, and still make sure you're having fun in the process.
We're huge believers in the fact that planning a destination wedding can be one of the most amazing experiences, and we want to bring you along.
We're so excited to talk with you about weddings, Hawaii, and everything else under the sun.
So pack your bags and let's get started.
So today we're talking about hair and makeup. And again, we have Erika here. I'm super excited.
I think hair and makeup is the starting point to your wedding day. And having an amazing or horrible makeup artist will set the tone for your day. Is your makeup artist on time? Are they professional? Are they running late? And if they're running late, we talk about this all the time, then everything kind of falls apart. Does the makeup look nice? If it looks horrible, it doesn't fit their personality, doesn't fit their vibe, the photos are going to look crappy. You know, so like hair and makeup to me is such an incredible, like foundational piece of a wedding.
And, you know, for me, in addition to just the actual hair and makeup, I've worked with makeup artists where it's their stuff is everywhere. The room is a mess. And so when the photographer comes in, they're really frustrated because you can't get a clean shot of the bride getting her makeup done. Their stuff's everywhere. So again, it's not just the makeup on camera, being on time. It's also, can they manage their personal space? So I have a really fun game. Everyone knows that I love games, and it is called This or That. So I am going to ask Erika to choose which one. No explanation. We'll go into it later. Just choose. Joe's going to want to play too, so that's fine.
Can I join?
You can
Is
also
that okay, Erika?
That means you're going to answer for me?
No, I want to answer with you.
You can play with me.
He also likes to play. I don't know. He has to be. Okay.
I think we're going to be on the same page. Maybe not.
Erika, hair up or hair down?
Hair up.
Joe?
Hair up, definitely hair up.
Okay. Waterproof mascara, yes or no?
Yes, definitely.
I'm going to guess yes, but I don't actually know.
That was more than a quick answer. Sunscreen, yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Okay, airbrush or liquid? Gotta answer.
Airbrush.
Airbrush. I'm just going with.
I know.
Do you
not
even
yours.
know,
I
Joe?
He's just copying us. Okay. Bold and dramatic or soft and neutral?
Soft and neutral.
Soft and dramatic.
This is why you can't play. Red or nude lip?
Nude.
Nude. Always go nude if you have a choice.
It's so creepy.
Nude's best.
Yay! Okay, well, there was no winners or losers.
I think I lost. I don't know how.
I don't know what
I
you
think you were copying, Joe.
I mean, you always copy the girl who has like the, you know, best answers. And
That's
I think that's
fair,
going to
yeah.
be.
He was looking over your shoulder the whole time.
He did go after me.
Yeah, 100%. So I want to now take a deeper dive into some of these answers. So now I'm going to let you give explanation.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, and I guess, Joe, you can too.
All right.
Because I don't know what you were answering, so let's see.
I don't know either, but I'm sure it'll come together at the end. It'll be
Yeah,
great.
it always does. So the first question was hair up or hair down. So a couple of, I guess, follow-ups to that is when we're talking about it, right? For your wedding day, does it make sense to have your hair up, your hair down? Are there things to consider when you're talking about it? Or are brides like, I want my hair down, I don't care, do it? Like, do you try to convince them otherwise? Like, what's your thought on that?
Yes, that was a very hard question to answer because it deserves explanation.
No explanations.
I know, but now I can explain.
You got
so
it.
here
Yeah.
we go. I picked hair up because one, we're hot in Hawaii, especially during the summer months. And it's always the safest bet if you have finer hair that doesn't hold a curl. That way it could be set and stayed that way. That way gravity doesn't take over and your hair doesn't fall. Versus if we did a down hairstyle and your hair doesn't hold a curl at all, it'll fall flat. We do make the curls tighter. We do use product that may let it last longer. But of course, you can determine that at a trial.
So are you saying when you have your hair down, it's not going to last as long throughout the day?
If your hair is the type that will fall out. But if you come to me and say, no, my hair holds a curl, then that'll be perfect because it'll hold the curl.
Do you put so much hairspray that it's like crunchy though? Or is it still kind of like flowy in the wind?
So it all depends on the hair. Some finer hair, textured hair, if you put too much product in, it weighs it down. Mm-hmm. So then no, I wouldn't. If your hair holds a curl, I wouldn't make it crunchy. It just depends. I do use working spray, which is flexible, and then I set it with a final spray. It does harden it a little, but I wouldn't say it's like a helmet.
Nobody wants a helmet.
Nobody wants
on
a
their
helmet
wedding
head.
day, right?
Yeah, no. But it does hold it. Like it does freeze it. It does set it a little.
What are your thoughts on, I call them the hanging tendrils, those tendrils of hair. They're little, like maybe 20, 30 strands
I know
of
what
hair.
you're saying.
Look, Erika has one here. Are you mocking her?
No.
What are you saying?
No, I'm
I
not.
know, yeah, what?
Dang it. But I find that that's super trending, right? But sometimes it just does not stay throughout the day. And it just kind of, to me, looks unkept. Is that right to say?
Let's
talk about that.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I
let's
get
talk
what
about
you're
that.
saying. And you're probably talking more of like the thinner tendrils, especially when the hair is much longer.
Yeah.
Like I would straight tell my brides, if their front pieces are too long, it starts to look like antennas.
Yeah.
Like bug antlers.
I
Yeah.
hate bugs.
And so they're like, okay, cut it. I'm like, whoa.
cut it.
I have cut hair. Yeah, they make me. I'm like, can we just have a disclaimer? I do not cut hair. But they're like, I don't care. Just cut it. But it's just because when it gets too long, it looks unkept. I love the framing pieces. I think it's beautiful. If the hair doesn't hold curls long, then they got to take into consideration like how that will look into the hair. So I find like bringing out a thicker piece might look a little better than just like two lines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More like effortless.
Yeah.
Kind of like almost like your hair fell out like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I said updo because I think that a lot of times we also have to deal with wind, and like if it's windy, your hair is going to look good all day long, especially for
Amen.
photos, right?
Yes.
But
But you can Photoshop it, right? Right, Joe?
No, not at all. No, I mean,
You can't Photoshop the whole head of
You can
hair out of the
Photoshop
face.
every photo, right?
no, that's not. But that's the thing is you can't do, like, there's some things you can and can't do, and like when you start photoshopping hair, you can tell. You
Yeah.
can
Not
tell,
that good. What I've seen a lot is when I'm helping couples book their vendors, they will often tell me, oh, the girl that does my hair is going to be there at my wedding, or I'm going to go to their salon.
Erica's making like barf face. It's like literally a barf face.
So I get this a lot, right? So they're like, I just need a makeup artist because the person who cuts my hair is going to style my hair for my wedding and all my wedding party and my mom and everyone I know. Now you can deep dive.
Can I be really raw?
Yes.
Please don't.
She looks angry.
She's crying.
Please don't, and don't tag me. Okay, wait. Disclaimer. There are a few stylists on this island that cut color and kill it in styling hair. But when you're looking for somebody on your wedding day, wouldn't you want to stick to somebody that specializes and does it all day styling? I have done makeup only, and I have seen some hairstyles. And I'm like, dear God, please don't tag my company as hair. Please, no.
Well, and I think the hard thing too is when you work with someone who's not in weddings or doesn't understand how a wedding day works, we're
flow.
often running late because they just take so long. They don't understand, like, we have to be done at this certain time or it affects everything else along the line.
Well, and
Yes.
talk about the hold too, right? You have to have, your hair needs to stay looking nice all day long. And like, is that something that your barber like is going to do?
I don't think they don't know if they don't do it all day.
Right.
That's all we do is style hair for weddings.
Yep.
What they do all day is cut and color. I've seen some pretty helmety, frizzy hair coming from their hair cutter. And I'm like, oh dear. And then it does affect the flow because it's like, okay, this is our timeline. And honestly, like I just recently implemented like not working with other people
Dude, I
on
like
wedding
that.
days because of that.
Gangster.
I
Gangster
know.
right
I
there.
like
So
that. I'm going to
we-
do that too.
If they do want to hire another company, we won't.
Absolutely. Every single time, work with a professional that specializes in weddings. It makes a huge difference. The person who cuts your hair is not going to have that same finesse for a wedding day.
And if I'm being 100% honest, and that's what this show is about, like prepping your brides, I think this should come forth, and not a lot of people talk about the back end stuff and what we really experience. And so I think it's important, although it's a little nerve-wracking to say these things, to educate our brides and let them know really, truly how we feel and what we see on our end as professionals.
You do not want to spend all this money on your wedding and everything else is awesome, but your hair looks horrible. Let me ask this question. I want to transition really quickly into one more thing about hair. How do you get to know what looks best for someone on their wedding day? I know that like there's all these different styles, like Hollywood glam, dramatic, or real soft and flowy natural. How do you get to know what's the best fit for someone's look?
So a lot of it is really connecting with the bride. I feel like I'm really good at connecting with people and asking the right questions, because what I think looks good is not what they want for their wedding day. So it's really about getting to know the bride and what her concerns are and what she wants to look like, how she wants to look like, and what her hair is actually capable of doing, and being honest about it and giving professional advice. So it's really about working with our brides. I don't come in there like, this is what you should do. It's like, how do you want to feel?
Right.
How do you want to look? What are your concerns? Does your hair hold curls? Stuff like that. So I think it's always like, that's what it is with me. It's a team effort. Because what I think looks good, they might not be comfortable with it.
What if you have a bride that comes to you and is like, oh my gosh, I want to look like this. And you're like, your hair is not made for that look. How do you, keep them on track?
Okay. Say they have fine hair and they pull up a Pinterest picture of a big hairstyle that clearly has extensions. Then I'll talk about it. I'll be like, okay, I see your hair is like this, and this is the look you're trying to achieve. Would you be open to using hair extensions?
Sure. Right.
And
Gotcha.
it's not about just making them happy. You have to educate them. They don't know. They just know that they want to look like this. So it's like, to get your hair from this to this is what we're going to need.
Right.
And it's, again, just communicating and educating.
I love that.
So it's funny. I talk to a lot of my couples, and before they go for their trials, I'll tell them, hey, send me pictures. And a lot of them are these very glam Kim Kardashian looks. And so for me, what I try to do to prep them is realistically, like, is your hair that texture, that size, that body? Do you have that face shape, right? So I'm like trying to set up the hair and makeup artist for success, knowing that, will this work? Maybe we have to manage expectations. And I think as a wedding planner, with every vendor that we book, it's constantly trying to manage expectations.
How many extensions would it take for me to look like a Kardashian? Just
Oh, you look like one now.
You're pretty
stunning.
close to a Kardashian.
You're
I would
stunning.
think.
all right, good. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Back
All right.
to me, Joe.
Yes. Thank you. Erika, I want to talk to you about waterproof makeup. We're in Hawaii. It's hot. I like using waterproof mascara so I don't look like a raccoon, but I don't feel like it gives my lashes kind of that volume that I love. Like, what is your tip, or what do you think about waterproof makeup, and how do you still manage to make your brides look so glam? I don't feel glam when I use waterproof makeup.
I'm all for waterproof, especially on your wedding day, because who wants to look like a raccoon?
Somebody does. Somebody out there. What
Okay,
about
go.
this though? But what about this? I'm an emotional person. Like at my wedding, I cried like 1,000 times. In terms of makeup, how do you keep looking good when you're starting to get, like, how do you emotional? Yeah. How do you do that?
I'm so glad you asked that. So one tip that I always tell my brides before I leave is tap, don't wipe.
Okay.
When you cry, tap, don't wipe. You wipe anything on your face, it's going to come off.
Yeah.
Especially, I told my sister-in-law, don't wipe, tap. She was up at the altar blowing her nose and like wiping it off. And I was like, I told you to tap. But she knew I was there to touch her up, so she didn't care.
Perfect.
But it's the tapping and wiping, being very aware that you have makeup on. And everything we use is waterproof, because Hawaii's humid, oils, crying, all of that. It has to be able to withstand the tears.
So you're saying waterproof everything?
All the
then?
way.
Okay.
Whatever I
But
can have waterproof will be waterproof.
But it's tears and sweat, right?
Tears and sweat.
Or rain.
And rain.
So I did a wedding a couple months ago, and it was storming. In my head, all my makeup was waterproof. But I took a look at myself. Oh my God. I had like huge raccoon eyes. I'm like, oh, something on my eyes is not waterproof. I don't know what it is or what happened, but something is not working. So I went back to Sephora and I talked to the person. I'm like, what am I using that's not waterproof? I'm like, oh, your mascara is not whatever. So anyway, I switched it. And just the other day I was out in the rain again and like my makeup was perfect. I made it. So I'm so happy.
Which is why it's waterproof all day. Like you don't know when those showers are coming.
I had a wedding rehearsal for an hour standing in the rain. Like I was drenched, but my makeup still looked good.
Yes, and that's why it's waterproof. And
I am a believer in waterproof makeup, 100%.
All right, so we disagreed about sunscreen.
Yes.
So I know that some like makeup has sunscreen in it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it was a yes or no answer. So I went with no because if there's a high amount of the zinc oxide, that can cause flashback in photography. And I've actually had a meeting with a photographer and like she said, there's just nothing you can do when you have that white cast under your eyes.
Sure.
And it's the most horrible thing. So in all my prep instructions, it's like absolutely no sunscreen. But if I do tell them if they really feel more comfortable with sunscreen, put it on like 2 hours before we come, let it set in your skin. And if you must put it on closer, 15 SPF or less to be safe.
I think sometimes there's those like new sunscreens that, like it's all mineral and you look like a ghost, right?
Yes.
It looks horrible.
No.
Yeah. And I guess like if you're in the sun all day, try to figure out how not to be in the sun, and so you're not like, I have a few clients that are just so fair skinned that, by the end of the day, you don't want them to be looking like a lobster.
But they can put it on their body.
Yeah.
But their face.
Their face will be covered with makeup and they could also put it on, like I said, 2 hours before. But right before the makeup application, absolutely not.
So I know you guys, Erika is literally staring at my makeup and it's so stressful because I know she's just judging me. But
I am not.
She is.
Stare at him instead.
I have just as much makeup on.
I know, like literally nothing. That's my problem. I tried because I know that Erika's going to be looking at me today, and I'm like, I have to do a good job. As I'm putting on my foundation, I was thinking, there's so many different types. Like, is there a better type for weddings that last longer? So, I use a liquid, but there's airbrush, which I love because it feels like a little facial powder. There's cushions, there's creams. Like, what do you think is the most effective on your wedding day? Or what do you use to help last throughout 12, 14-hour days?
Long wear, everything for sure. And it does matter on the skin prep. Like what type of skin do you have? What look are you trying to accomplish for your foundation? And a lot has to do with skin prep as well. Are we talking about the airbrush and liquid question?
Let's do it.
Okay. So I picked airbrush because a lot of my brides personally are very natural. They don't like the feel of foundation. And airbrush is such a beautiful option. It feels light. It lasts long. But there are some cons to it.
There are? I love airbrush. I don't see any cons.
There can be. But there are techniques to rectify it. Because it's sprayed on your skin, it sits on top of your skin. Versus a liquid foundation that you can buff into skin. So if you have more textured skin, if you have more porous skin, buffing something in first will fill it and smooth out that surface better than just a spray of airbrush, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I love the long wear of airbrush. It's beautiful. It photographs very nicely. So does liquid though. And it just all depends on your skin type, how you want it to feel on your face, and the longevity of the makeup look you want.
What looks best to you in photos? I guess I like airbrushing myself, but like, what do you think?
I think they both look great. I mean, depending on the airbrush foundation that you have, it could be a matte, it could be semi-matte or dewy. I tend to just use the semi-matte. So it can, on some skin, absorb it more, like drier skin. So it's really important to, again, make sure the skin prep is key.
And let's talk about that. You just opened up Pandora's box of hair and makeup for me. Is the shine. If people look, like shiny or greasy or, like their forehead is reflecting, in photos, it looks really weird. How do you address that?
So that's normally because someone is more oily.
Yeah.
So we would prep their skin for oily skin, mattifying primer, more powder. But of course, throughout the day, it's going to get shiny. So we do put blotting paper in our touch-up kits to make sure they can blot that. throughout the day.
And what about the dewy look? Like, that's kind of a trendy thing. Like, people like to look a little dewy, which could look, I guess, greasy to Joe. Dewy.
So what is the dewy look? I mean, I guess this is like a question. Like, is it shiny and vibrant, or is it sweaty and gross? Like, like
Well, I think
what
there's
is
a
it?
fine line.
What
I
is
think
it?
that's the thing, right? It's the dewy look is a very Korean popular skincare, right? It's just that very fresh, very natural makeup. And it just looks like you kind of stepped out of the shower, right? Like just that really, really radiant skin. I guess it could kind of cross the line to sweaty and gross if you don't do it right. So
Right.
let's turn to our in-house expert to give us their thoughts.
Or if you are just more oily,
if you are
look
sweaty and gross.
So can I just say the dewy look is very clean. It's very skin-like. And I think a good expectation to have is like, if your skin is good, if it is good, healthy skin,
Like
then
more flawless. Yeah.
flawless. If, you know, you take care of your skin, it's smoother. It can show through well with that makeup application. However, if you have a little bit more coverage that you need, it does appear a little bit more covered, if that makes sense. So I like to achieve that look with more, of course, hydrating primer, and then setting it with a little bit of powder, and then just doing it up with more highlight. That's what I tend to do when I do that, especially if the bride needs a little bit more coverage. So I think with the dewy look, I think the expectation is more like flawless, right? But if your skin isn't flawless to start, it will need a little bit more coverage to achieve that look.
The dewy sounds like a dance that hasn't been invented yet.
I think that's Dougie.
You're too old.
Teach me how to Dougie.
I know you're
Joe.
dating
Teach me
yourself.
how to
How to
do
Dougie.
it. Teach me how to do it.
That probably will become a song
Oh,
soon.
Lord, I know.
But then also you have to think, like, if you really want that dewy look, it's often can be more like wet.
Yeah.
So in the humidity here, so I honestly don't like to do the dewy look. I like
that
to just
sounds-
set it with powder and do it up with highlight.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it for Hawaii, because you touch it, it's going to move. So here in Hawaii, I think setting it is really important for long lasting makeup. And I give that look through highlight.
All right, Erika, I'm going to get a little creepy with you here, and this is going to make you feel uncomfortable. Hopefully.
Nothing makes me feel uncomfortable.
Nude or red?
Let's uncreep it. Let's uncreep it a little. And again, we are talking about lipstick, nude or red, and we're kind of
Nude.
taking and we're taking a step back, right? Dramatic makeup or more soft and natural. I think that's
that
what we're
sounds
talking
better than
about.
what
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So let's switch it a little.
Okay, Erika, so when is it okay to be nude with your makeup artist? Like,
You
Yeah,
are
when?
a creep. Literally, Joe,
oh, man.
in my man voice. Okay, I went with nude, and it's not real nude because you still want a little bit of color.
Yep.
So that it shows through again for photography. And red is not always something every bride can wear, which is why I went more with the safer option. And it's not that they can wear it. It's more like, do they want to rock it,
Right.
for their wedding day? I think brides look beautiful with a red, but
Like a cherry.
bright
like,
red.
Bright red, yeah.
Yeah, like a fire hydrant red.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
For some people.
For some people, yeah.
Yeah.
But most of the brides are more on the neutral side, or maybe like a berry or something in between.
So how do you figure that out? How do you get to know that with your bride?
We talk with them and we
Yep.
swatch things and we try things and we change things. And, finding that perfect color that photographs well and they feel comfortable in is important. So nude, I would not say like completely nude. I would definitely have some color in it so that it pops in photographs. Because sometimes if you go too nude, you can be washed out.
Something that scares me about red lipstick is really it's that transfer, right? Onto a dress, onto their teeth. And I know that they have the stains where, it doesn't move, but when I look at their lip, it just scares me that they're going to hug their groom, right? And it's going to get on his shoulder or kiss mom on the cheek and it's there. There's just always that fear with those really, really bright colored lipsticks.
I have photoshopped so many brides' teeth where they have lipstick on their teeth and they're smiling. The beautiful smiling is like, you have lipstick, and it looks weird, right? Anything else we want to talk about, Erika? Like do's and don'ts, like anything that, like, if you could share this with all of our listeners, do this or don't do this. Like, what would you want to say about hair and makeup?
Do be on time.
Yes.
Do send the timeline prep instructions to everybody receiving services. Don't come with your hair wet and don't not have AC.
Nice. Yeah. It's always good to be in an AC room doing your hair and makeup.
Yes, especially in hot Hawaii.
All right, guys, we are so sad that this episode is coming to an end. We have to say goodbye. Please give our listeners a little shout out. Where can they find you? Social media, website, whatever.
You can find me on Instagram, Perfectly Made Hawaii. And on my Instagram, there's going to be the link in my bio to inquire through there.
Perfect. That is awesome. And we will also put it in our show notes. Again, everyone, thanks so much for listening. If you don't listen, please follow us, listen, like, subscribe, and we will catch you back here soon.
Alrighty, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Unveiling Paradise.
If you enjoy our show, please follow us and rate us on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. It would really mean a lot.
And don't forget to also get on our mailing list and follow us on Instagram. Just do it already.
Until next time, this is Tessa.
And this is Joe.
And don't forget, your happily ever after
It's just a plane ride away.